y'all? I am your girl Candy, and I got my main side #1 right hand man.
I get a lot today. Oh,
yeah, you my right hand man. Right hand solutions, right?
You know.
My right hand man. Don Juan is in the building, and we are about to speak on it. He's burnt. A little candy always helps sweeten the tea. You know, I never follow the rules. My life's going so good, I'll just leave the taglines for those who need them. Well, hello there. Hello, everyone. I am your girl Candy, and I'm about to speak on it. Speak on it. So, Don Juan.
Yes.
First of all, how do you feel that we really get our own show on Bravo?
I'm really good at handling my business.
I don't know, like it feels very different, but I noticed it as we were filming. I was like, oh, I'm definitely not a friend of the show. This is a lot. That's when it really hit once we started the season, and it was like, this is every day, and like you are really in my face with these cameras, and I can't just be like, I can't do this today. They're like, what do you mean you can't do this today? So I think that part was kind of the shocker, but after that it was like, oh wow, I never thought I would be on a reality show as a cast member. Yeah, I never thought that.
Well, isn't it amazing how our lives have changed in this past decade?
Yeah.
I feel like it's really cool that everybody got a little taste of who Don Juan was, you know, on Real Housewives, but now you really get to know you a lot more. But to make it clear for people, you used to tell them yourself, what is your position in my life?
Yeah.
I was adding stuff to y'all's schedule. Grand opening, Bedroom Candy Convention, OLG 2.5.
So I'm the general manager of Candy Coated Entertainment, which Candy Coated, of course, is the parent company. And of course, Candy has a whole bunch of numerous businesses over that. So overseeing the day-to-day operations of that side. As it relates to the restaurants,
I'm gonna probably end up having to onboard some people.
I work as the administrative manager, handling payroll, HR issues. I keep the lights on because I make sure all invoices and stuff get paid. We process accounts receivables, you know, with this office. So we handle all of those kind of things. And when needed, I jump in and expo and manage on those days that we don't have anybody else. Because you know I can.
That is not the purpose of Don Juan. He really is supposed to be handling other things with my other businesses, not being at OLG every day. Listen, to be clear, I don't think I will ever be able to find somebody who can do as many jobs as Don Juan can. Like, Don Juan has been a blessing in my life, you know what I mean? He just so happened to have 1 million jobs before he had turned like 15 years old.
Basically.
Like, he had worked in every industry before I met him.
Most people think that that's a lot, and I'm like, no, I did a lot of different, like, yeah, let me see. My first job, I worked at a movie store. Then I worked at a Subway, and then I managed the Subway. Then I worked at a steel strapping plant. That was probably the hardest job I ever did in my life. Then I worked at a bank. I was a teller and a financial service rep. Then I was a teacher. And then, then I was at admin at a high school. It was like, yeah, I've done a lot of different jobs.
Oh yeah, he's done a lot of different
and
jobs.
that was like, I was like 20 something by the time I did all that.
Yeah, and to be clear, so he had done all those things before we met, but we met when you were still in college.
I was like 18.
Yeah, which is
crazy.
So now you're a grown-ass man and you pretty much run all my stuff. You know, he's the one that you have to go to or through to get to me. I just like to clear it up because a lot of people always like, oh, you're assistant. Don Juan is not my assistant, but he just helps me with everything, you know, just period. Okay, so before we get to really talking about the show, let's talk more about you.
Okay.
What are the most rewarding, challenging parts of what you do? I mean, that question I got from Facebook.
Okay. So I think for me, what I would say is rewarding side of it is I'm a real, like, accomplishment, or even if it's not accomplishment, like task or goal oriented person. So the end result is always good. So even if it stresses the hell out of me, like when it's like finished and done, I'm always like, okay, that was great. So every year, even if it's a convention we're doing, or every year if it's like we're doing XYZ, you know, creating this new business, like when it's finished, it's like, okay, I had a part in that, in making it happen. The make it happen part of it is always like the biggest part for me. And people think it's very weird, but I'm like, that's probably one of the most rewarding parts of anything that, you know, we're doing.
I think I relate to you in that way because I just love accomplishments.
Yes.
Like, I love to be able to say, I did that.
Yes.
Or, you know, I made that happen or whatever. So we are alike in that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's another one from Facebook.
Okay.
What's your favorite memory from working with me?
Favorite memory? Oh, we have had a lot of different memories over these years. I mean, I think for me, it kind of varies. I think the full circle moments of like from the dungeon tour to the escape tour, like I think a moment where you have to understand, like, even when we've known each other so long, but with working with you so closely, I've seen you in those performance moments. So it was kind of like still like, oh my God to me, because I think for me, it was like surreal. And when we met, you were more focused on songwriting. So from the Candy Coated album to the, you know what I'm saying, like the Dungeon to Escape, to see all of those kind of come full circle. Every time you like get on stage, it's still kind of like, damn, I really get to see this and live this and be like, it kind of seems still surreal every time.
So why do you think we don't do more music
I mean, you know, I would push to do more music all the time, but it's just kind of how timing and scheduling usually works. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you always are like, I need more time. What are you doing? You're coming like scheduled out. So it's kind of like, how do you focus on that when you have so many other things? But I think that's probably always the rewarding thing. It's always like when you get on stage, and I will say that you're a different person. And it's like, I don't think I ever, because of the time that I came in your life, thought I would see that side of you, because it was like, okay, you were focused more on the out. So every time it's like, oh, you know, because every time you get off, we make the running joke, even when people are like, oh, people do like you. You might be the shit. Okay, you know. Like,
yeah, I think. No, so here's one more question from Facebook.
Okay.
What do you want to accomplish for yourself in life that has nothing to do with me?
Wow. That's a loaded question. I'm like,
that's what the people want.
I know, it's just kind of loaded. Like,
I don't want to cut me off now, so let's not. But
I think for me, I definitely want to own, like, you know, I have businesses, but like own my own like thing that you always talk about, generational wealth, like the thing that could be passed down. I mean, time is winding down, but I actually do want to be a parent. I do want to be a parent.
Okay.
You know, we'll see. I do want to be a parent.
Down that much, you had like you old or something.
No, but it's like, I don't want to be an old parent.
You still in your dirty.
I don't want to be an old parent though. I want to be able to still get out there, run, do all of those things like with my child. I don't want to get too old and I'll be like, okay, you do whatever, and I raise some serial killer or something. I don't want to do that. Like, I want to be an active, great parent that is still like, okay, no, you didn't fool that on me. I was on TikTok too. I saw that. Get off your phone. You're doing the most. You know, I want to still be in touch. So like build a family and like just have some other generational wealth things that like, you know, being able to like own some property, you know, business. Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. So let's get down to the Candy and the Gang.
Candy and the Gang.
Candy and the Gang.
Gang. Okay.
Okay. So let me just run off a couple of questions. So,
okay.
You know, we got our cast of characters.
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to ask you on this first episode.
Yes.
For Candy and the Gang. We see that Philip bumps heads with a few people in the restaurant. Now, some people be thinking that reality TV is fake. But I'm here to tell you that is real.
It's not fake.
Okay. So why do you think that Philip and some of the people in the restaurant just was like oil and water?
Oh, I don't like him.
I think Philip is a strong personality. So for me, I had to also understand that my delivery sometimes changed the outcome of how my interaction with people would be. I think a lot of times, even when I was younger, even with working with you, I I felt like, okay, because I'm young, like, no, you still have to understand, because I don't think people really took that, or they felt like, okay, well, who am I going to talk to? I remember being on conversations with you, and they'd be like, but who making the decision? Like, you know, like they were not very respectful of that. So they would be like, you're young, so who? And I would be like, oh, you're going to talk to me though. You know, but I think so sometimes you come through and you feel like, okay, well, I want you to understand, like, this is what it should be, and kind of provide some order. And sometimes the delivery can get that. So I think that that's what happened with Phillip. He came in and he's a very direct person.
I wasn't brought into this company to operate the way that you all operate. You can either get with this or you can shift yourself out.
And his delivery sometimes to people kind of rubbed them wrong, but I also think that they came in with preconceived notions of, okay, well, you can't tell us nothing, we don't know you, and we gonna do what we want to do because that kind of works for us.
Everybody
I need you to pause.
Jabari said he want hours.
I said pause. Y'all don't know what pause means?
Okay, so at the time that we brought Phillip in, it was like, we have been on a downward turn for a minute, because obviously we had lost a lot of employees.
Phillip is our 100th manager in 4 years because they aren't able to handle the people, the pace, the staff.
It's hard hiring, so it was just like people was just doing what they want to do. And then some people left, some people came back, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Okay, so with the people that had left and came back, touring.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
What are your thoughts about them?
I think they left for their own reasons. I mean, just being honest, when the touring started ready to come back, I wasn't really for it, and it's nothing personal, but it had personal undertones. But it was like, I don't really have time for it. You know, how you move in business or whatever. I didn't really have time for it. And then Brian, I had apprehension on Brian also, just because Brian had his own struggles that they'll talk about throughout the season. And so it was like, I honestly just was like, I don't have the energy for another person that's gonna like pull it for me. Like, my cup is on drained. I can't pour nothing into y'all. Like, so I had apprehension about both individuals coming back, to be honest. Like, it was for different reasons, but with both, I was like, Brian, it was more like, I don't know if I can do that right now. And Torrin was like, man, I ain't rocking with that. Man, fuck that.
So you really was feeling like how Phillip was feeling, actually, but...
For sure.
Okay, so, you know, I'm just giving y'all a little background because, you know, you see the things that happen on the show, but just kind of leading you up to what happened on the show. I pretty much was the only person that was, like, rooting for some of them to come back. Okay.
Good luck.
I am loving the fact that this show, I don't know if anybody paid attention, we have more men lead characters, I guess you could say, than women.
Women, yes. It's very male heavy. It's very unusual.
When it comes to reality TV.
I mean, yeah, it's not that many shows that have that. I think Black Ink is kind of neck and neck with us. They usually have a lot of male leads, but like, I think it's because you don't know where it's going to go with guys, like, when the conflicts come. But I think we have a lot of strong male personalities on this show. But the girls that are on this show are...
You can go to around, bitch!
Saucy and spicy, and they let you know that they are still the head queens of this show in their own world.
What is it, lube?
If you want it to be.
Because they will, you know, you have your family, of course, the OLG, yourself, but then even the Safaris, the Chandrika, the Dominiques, like they come in and you're like, who is this girl? Like,
I'm taking my rollers out my hair.
oh, this is what we doing?
It's hot in here, okay? It's giving sweat box.
They come with a whole lot with themselves. So I think it's, you know, definitely it balances out because the guys are going to give you enough. And, you know, like the guys are not afraid to have conflict. Is, you know, like the girls are more like, you know, they're going to say what they say, but the guys are really not afraid to speak their mind on this show. I have never seen so many guys not afraid to speak their mind.
So opinionated.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so let me just say that, you know, this year, you know, I'm going to have to be going back and forth out of town a little bit, you know, because I still have to film on some other shows. But will you sit in for me sometimes on Speak On It if I can't get here?
I mean, they didn't roast me as much last season when I sat in on Speak On It. What's up, people? Should I do Candy's intro? What's up, what's up, what's up? It's your boy, Don Juan. At first, I was like, hell no, I ain't sitting in on that show. They ain't finna roast me.
It makes me cringe. It makes me cringe.
It's personal. I can see that.
Why you think they was gonna roast
What?
you?
People love to love me to hate me. In person, I'm telling you, I've never met anybody. They'd be like, I love you. Come on, take a picture. Like, everybody's so sweet. But online, they always have but they just have so much like, ugh. Oh my God, I can't. But when he said such, and I'm like, but you were listening. So I didn't know we're coming in to speak on it. Like, so last season when you would have to go out or when we were, like, I literally was like, I don't know about this.
Because I saw y'all in the comments last week when y'all was sitting up here trying to say that I didn't want to comment on last week's episode. That's why I had Don Juan and A1 come speak for me. First of all, I'm over it.
But then doing it, like I would have people that would come up to me, they'd be like, yo, speak on it.
I want to get your opinion on the reunion, especially that third. That third episode was like confusing
as hell. Oh, it was good. Like they were open to it, and I was like, okay, it's like the substitute teacher that I was like, oh, you like me.
Okay.
So yes, I would definitely do it.
Well, thank you. What are one of the moments that people have been able to see in the first episode that you were just kind of like, ooh?
So I think from the first episode, I'm gonna have two moments. So one moment I was there for, and I was there for Phillip and Chandrika having a back and forth.
I don't really like Phillip too much.
What do you mean?
I don't like him.
And they didn't even get to see everything.
They didn't get to see a whole lot. How do you say that and you don't know him? We probably need to have a conversation because what he does say go. Because it went on for so long and you can only see, so much of the conversation. But it was a very and I was just sitting there like.
I am not in any way threatened by Chandrika. She's a greeter.
Oh my God, what is happening here? Like, you've never seen me kind of like speechless, but I'm like, what is going on with these two people? What's wrong? What's wrong? Right. I think that was a moment. And then a oh my God moment was when the lights went out. I got a call and they're like, hey, the power is out. And I'm like,
oh, y'all ain't got no light.
Let me check on the account because it'll tell you like the power is out. It'll say how long, it'll say whatever. And I'm like, let me check on the account because they're gonna be trying to say, what, she ain't paid a bill or whatever. But I was also trying to get the estimate of time so I could tell like Phillip and them like, hey, this is how much time it's gonna be. But when I saw it, I was like, I'll be damned, they didn't got the power off on the first episode.
Y'all ain't got no light.
Lord, we look crazy.
Episode when they were filming, I was like, why? And I was just about to walk in as the lights went out.
I'm sorry you in the dark. It's scary. I ain't going in there to see you though.
And then it's like hot in there. People was like acting crazy.
Throwing up.
Like, oh my God, I was disgusted.
Disgusted.
I'm like,
please get the kid.
Yeah.
Get the kid and get the throw up. Oh,
like it's us. Like we made that happen.
Yes,
like,
but I knew that they were. So when I watched it, I was like, oh my God, they got the damn power out. Oh my God, we look crazy. The power then went out in the place of all times. Why are they in here filming and the power went out on the whole damn block?
Hey, baby. Look like somebody don't hit a generator or something out here.
And what was the funniest thing that you felt was said from the argument with Chandrika and Phillip?
When Phillip looked at her and said, I don't go back and forth for hourly employees. Okay, this is crazy. And I think on the flip side, I'll give Chandrika her props. When I saw her getting ready to come to work, that was a hot ass mess to me. Bitch, move the fuck out of the way.
Oh, I do got a curler right here.
Oh my God, like it was so just like, that is her, but it was so like.
I just feel like I've been living here for almost 4 years and I still need a GPS.
Oh my God, this is the hostess and she is seeming so bad.
But you know what? The funny thing is, I mean, it's funny because it's really her. And that's really who we have as our hostess.
Yes.
I moved out here about 4 years ago after graduating college.
And hey, I think it's kind of cool that the people that are part of this show get to shine and the world gets to see them, and then they get to, once the world gets to know them, you get to know them, you love them or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like most of them did not come to work to OLG thinking that they were going to be starring on a TV show.
No.
That was not the intent. They didn't know that would ever happen. So to see that this has happened for them, well, for all of us, but for them because they've never really done TV.
Yeah.
I think this is so cool.
I think it's good, and you get to see, you know, like you said, other people that you've like, hey, okay, show like signs, because Brian is a very big personality. Like Philip is a very big personality, and it's, even if they don't like him, they, you know, you get to follow his journey with introducing him, and like people are coming to the restaurant even now, like before the show aired. Like I've seen people like, hey, such is on the show. I saw them in the promo, like even ready to take pictures with them. So I think that part is very.
Oh, so they've been trying to take pictures.
They took pictures with definitely at least 2 people. They said, I literally saw somebody tweet, was like, hey, they added me or and they were like, I saw such was on the show, and I took a picture. I think it was Brian was one on my scene, and somebody else.
Oh my God! Just think about when it is like really on air, and they won't really be able to go places without people recognize them.
Basically.
See, that's the part that's so cool to me. Like when you know somebody personally, you've been knowing them for a long time before they ever got on TV, and to see how they're gonna change after. So, with that being questioned, that's the question. Who do you think is gonna get the big head after the show becomes well known and starts showing out on us?
I got 3 people.
Who?
Yeah, Phillip gonna give his ass to kiss by the end of the second season. He gonna, I mean, by the end of the season airing, he gonna be feeling himself.
Somebody getting fired.
So Candy talked about it the other day, but
just put it
who do you think will get the big head after this season?
Me, because it's my breakout year, you know. It's Todd's time, you know. So yeah, I'm all for the shits. It's all about me right now. Candy had the last 5 years, now it's all about Todd.
Somebody getting fired.
I'm gonna say Brian, Chandrika.
You think Chandrika gonna switch up?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
She gonna give us her whole booty to kiss.
There we go.
And Philip.
You think Philip gonna change?
They're going to hate to love him, but like, you know, like as you watch his stuff that like happened, they're gonna love him. People are gonna love him. Like he's gonna have a lot of admirers and fans.
Oh,
so
have lots of admirers.
like he's already very confident. So he's definitely gonna be what? Like a second season, Philip is gonna be like, what? No, I don't do that. I'm not gonna do that. No.
But you can tell the people who have a problem with it are the people who probably are part of the problem.
I mean, who are the people gonna love? The people love me. Like he definitely gonna let us know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so with that being said, how about we just jump right into it? Since you agreed that you would co-host with me this season.
Absolutely.
Let's bring Philip out.
Yes, let's see what Philip has to talk about for the first episode.
I don't know if you guys had a chance to meet Philip or not. He is our new director of operations for OLG.
What's up, y'all? Now I'm so excited because not only do I have Don Juan, I have Philip, aka Quasi, and together we are about to speak on it. Hello, everyone. I am your girl Candy, and I'm about to speak on it. Speak on it. So what's up, Philip?
What's going on?
Everything, really.
A lot.
Everything. How are you feeling?
I'm excited. I mean, I think it's been a lot, you know, adjusting to all these different personalities and getting to know all these different people. I mean, I feel like I look like the villain. I came in to try to get things kind of, you know, in a better spot, but now I feel like I'm painted as like, you know, the guy that's there to just ruffle everybody's feathers. But
you feel like that from the commercial?
Yeah, for sure.
So even by seeing just the commercials before the show actually started, did you like have a moment of like, oh shit, what did I sign up for once you saw the first one?
Oh, most definitely. I was like, this is about to be, you know, I think it's eye-opening to even see those things play out. Just to see those things happen again. And it takes me back to when
it actually happened.
Oh yeah. It takes me back.
Yeah. But what's the thing that, like, just from the commercial that they put out from the jump, what was the thing that stood out to you?
Let's see. You know your fans. They think I'm the villain with regards to like coming at you. You can't be challenging Candy. You can't be.
They were saying that in your comments already.
They think that I'm, you know, against you and what you trying to do with your business. So I'm like, no, we actually getting everything back in order, getting people, you know, doing the things that everybody doesn't want to do. playing the bad cop, because Don Juan, you know, they didn't got used to Don Juan at this point, so he don't really make it move the way he used to, maybe.
I'm just not the bad cop anymore. It was like, it's almost like parents. You can't have two people who are the bad cop because, like, it kind of has to balance out. So when those moments where you have to step in, you have to be ready to do that. But I think he is more than capable.
You gave up that role quick, though. You are no longer the bad cop.
I was like, here you go, on a platter.
It's not even really about giving it up. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like we're playing a role.
Yeah.
We're really who we are.
For
you
sure.
know what I'm saying? And so it's like sometimes when you watch yourself back on TV, you don't really realize it. But this is a good question to ask you. Okay. Now that you are starting to see yourself on TV, because we're just at the beginning.
Right.
Do you think that you're going to change?
You know what? I think that, for sure, I think that there's going to be maybe the approach in some ways will be different. I'm gonna try.
But is that true to who you are, though?
Most definitely. I think that you always have to have the ability to grow. I think I'm still going to always say what I have to say. Here we go, Don Juan doubting it. I'm still going to say what I have to say, but I think, again, getting to know people, maybe just approaching it in a way that gives them the ability to see, you know, to not lose the point, to get what I'm trying to get at. You know, I don't want them to get lost in what I'm trying to really accomplish because the approach is so off-putting for them. So, I mean, I'm pretty
direct. You're pretty direct, yeah.
I think people should always be who
they are.
You know what I mean?
Most definitely.
Like, I feel like sometimes when people watch themselves on TV or whatever,
then they try to edit
and
themselves.
I think you obviously, as you watch the show, there are going to be things that you feel like, oh dang, and maybe in the beginning you might feel that way, but as the show keeps going, I think people will just grow to love you. You get what I'm saying?
I hope so.
I think so. But I think the thing about it is, I think more than anything, I don't want you or any of the cast members to change who you genuinely are because you care about how people view you.
Oh, for sure.
Through the show.
Yeah.
And it happens all the time because I've seen it happen on our Real Housewives of Atlanta cast. You know, people feel like, oh my God, they don't like me, whatever. So they change who they really are. But if that's who you are, then it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to change that part of it. I don't even think that at this point in his life he's able to change that part of it. Like, he's like, this is who I am. Take me or leave me. It's got me, you know, successful and it's right. I'm like, okay, so you don't like it? Oh, well. You know, it was one of those housewives. You don't like it? Sure hell don't. But he like.
So when you first met Chandrika, what was your thoughts?
You know what? I actually liked her, to be honest with you. And not to say that kind of swayed, but I thought, hey, this is someone who's been with the company for a long time. She obviously has been running the front, and it's a really big position to kind of have, right?
How about y'all just come get y'all tables because I'm planning on sitting today.
And I thought that I would be able to even get a lot of information, especially as that new person that's coming into having to understand how the restaurant operates. I thought she was going to be somebody, if anything, that could kind of give me a lot of insight into what's going on. We just never got to that point. Kind of took a little detour, and then we gave back to it. But yeah, and you know, if she didn't deliver messages sometimes the way that she does, I think we got a little bit of similarities in our personality in some ways, but Chandrika can be a little bit tough to deal with. She also doesn't like new people.
Oh, I don't like him.
So I was that new person that she was like,
oh, I don't like him.
Who are you trying to tell me what to do? I'm just going to do what I do. You know, so I think, but again, my initial impression of her, I actually liked her.
When you're done, you let me know when you're done, and then I can
whenever
continue.
You feel you need to jump in, you can
Okay, cool. So this is what I don't tolerate.
Now, when is your birthday?
March
9th.
So, oh, shoot. Your birthday is like coming up.
Yeah, coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. We got to do something. Okay, cool. So that makes him a Pisces.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think Pisces personality.
I don't really know too many.
Strong-minded, you know.
I don't know too many Pisces.
Driven, determined.
Well, let's talk about a little bit of how we came into each other's lives. Okay, so I so happened to go to a place that you had worked prior to coming working with us. And I met a friend of yours, and I was basically venting of how everything was just falling apart for us over at our restaurants.
Right.
And she said to me that she thought she knew somebody that could help me. So in turn, she brought you by to Blaze, and you told me that you probably would have like a month that you could help and try to help me get things in order.
Yep.
And that month has turned into
A year.
We need
A
to
year. A year.
We just hit a
Just
year.
hit a year.
This is like
Celebrate it.
A year.
We have an anniversary that just passed. Okay, so what were you thinking when you first met me?
You know what? I actually really like.
Yeah, you can be honest.
I did. I like that you all were this vested into, your company, that you wanted to kind of bring in outside help to do that, especially people that kind of have a platform. They really just rely on saying, hey, my restaurants are going to be busy regardless, and they don't really care about like the integrity part. But the fact that you actually wanted to find somebody to kind of help in getting it to where you wanted it to be just showed that you really cared about it. And then hearing what your notion was to like, a black-owned business that wants to provide opportunities to people, etc. I thought it was actually really cool. Well, look, we were trying to figure things out for like maybe 3 or 4 months, right? We were saying, hey, this is how long it'll take to kind of get things better, kind of cultivating some of the people who are already running the restaurant. And then it just kind of, you get attached, you know what I mean? You get attached to the vision that you have for it and the impact that you want to make, and it just kind of grew.
And the crazy people that the people that he's sitting there like, why do you have them working for you? Then
I
he's
could
like,
tell Don Juan also was, he needed a little help. You know what I mean?
You think?
I was like,
it's a lot of responsibility, managing all these different people and having to, just keep that balance. This is not a small restaurant group, and at the end of the day, even just the demand, it's just a lot that, restaurants require with regards to time, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another question. Did you, prior to us meeting, see yourself on TV? Was this something that you had planned to do or thought you would be doing?
Never.
Never
Considered TV, never.
Well, can we say we think you were made for TV?
Definitely made for TV.
Oh, God.
I know you've come up here a few times in the past week. Like, do they realize that you're here to assess and...
No, I've just been working.
I never considered TV. I think that, you have to definitely have a personality. I'm actually a very reserved person. So, just being in being a public eye in a sense, that's not something that ever was something I, thought I would want to do. So this just happened to be in line with, obviously something that I was already a part of, and it came as an opportunity, and I'm appreciative of it for sure, but it's definitely not something that, I sought out to do.
Ain't it funny? Just lives done changed.
Definitely.
Whole life change.
All right, so I'd already kind of prepped you that we're going to be doing a lot of changes.
We were talking before you came in here, and I was asking Don Juan, who did he think was going to get the big head? Yeah. After the fame and stuff.
I had 3 people.
He had 3 people.
They've been pretty, honestly, they ain't really been given that vibe. A lot of them have been pretty gracious and calm with it thus far, but the Bryans and all, they definitely gonna fit themselves. Thank you, that's when it's gonna change.
Are we going through my 3 people? Oh, one of them was you.
Oh, you thought I was going to
No, not think. I definitely know.
You think that's my personality?
But not it like you're going, because you come and you, just like you demanded in professional, you demand, like you're going to come, and after the first season of this show, you're going to be, what? No, I did that. I'm not doing that anymore. We don't do that.
I can be a very strong-minded person, and people always ask me if I've been in the military, but no. I think it's like the haircut or something like that. Maybe the bone structure. I don't know.
You're going to definitely be that person that'll be like, no, I told them they already should know I'm not doing that. I'm not showing up then. We're not doing it. He's going to be that person for sure.
Maybe the bone structure. I don't know.
And then you're going to have gained these fans, and people love to hate you. And you're going.
What's Philip's fan club gonna be?
The Quasies.
The Quasies.
The Quasies. Well, in this first, let's talk about the thing that happened.
Okay, before we go into the other thing. So, Philip, this is my question. On social media, your name is?
Quasi.
Quasi.
Yeah.
So, is that part of your real name?
Yeah, my name is Philip Quasi.
Okay, so your friends call you Quasi, or they call you Philip?
Growing up, everybody called me Quasi. My mother, even in school, everyone called me Quasi.
Okay, so why you had us calling you Philip?
Because Philip is just more professional. I think it's easier for people to remember. They're not calling you Quasi, crazy, all these different things. I think just for somebody to remember it, Philip is just easier to kind of like flow into. So I've always used Philip in a professional environment.
Well, keep watching to see what Quasi comes up again.
But people in my personal life, my best friends, everybody in my personal life, they all call me Quasi.
Oh,
gotcha.
Okay, got it.
With the first episode, you see the power go out?
Oh, y'all ain't got no light.
What were your thoughts when the power went out in the middle of the busy service?
Right,
I
while
was literally
filming.
like,
Power went out.
I mean, I didn't know what to do, honestly. I think I just... Why did that just happen? Well, let me check for power outages real quick. Just looking at it, it's like, okay, we're filming.
Welcome to Old Lady Gang. This is normal.
But we're also running a restaurant at the same time.
Right.
It's gonna get so hot. It's hot in here, okay? It's giving sweat box.
I don't know, shoot, honestly, even just recalling it, I just remember trying to just make everybody do something that was gonna make everything balance. Like, they cannot leave. You know, people at that point, I didn't know if they were gonna get up and just like not want to pay the bill. Some people were still waiting on food.
You said that. You're like, they're gonna run out of here.
You know, all the servers are like, you know, they at this point, it's like a field day for them. They're like, all right, well, we could just go do whatever.
I'm not a server. I only serve the Lord.
It was a lot going on. Looking to see what Brandon's doing, all the managers.
You definitely, see, like with all of those things, you see that, but I could just tell that even if you weren't saying it, like your mind was like, oh shit, what did I get myself into?
Welcome to Old Lady Gang.
Oh, it was a lot.
A whole
And then
lot.
when we found out the power wasn't even about to cut back on, 'cause somebody had hit a generator or something, they were like, the power's gonna be out for hours.
Like your conversation is like, it's not, like when we talked and I was like, it's like 3 hours. And then like you're like.
I think we did what we needed to do considering everything that was going on with filming and running the restaurant, but we were definitely caught off guard by that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another question because, I mean, I'm asking for the people.
All right.
All right. Dating status. Now, coming up on the show, I know we're going to see you date your relationship.
Right, right.
Are you still dating?
Yeah, I'm still with Felipe.
Okay, I ain't know. Like, you know, I have to ask because
Most
I'm
definitely.
sure there are people who want to know.
For sure, I'm still with Felipe.
Okay,
Yeah.
how long y'all been together?
We just hit like 1.5 years.
Oh, it's only been 1.5 years.
Yeah.
Oh.
But this is my longest relationship.
Is it? So what is it that makes this the
I don't
one?
know. I don't think about it. It just works. It's like anything. It just happens to work. I guess in the past it just didn't work, or I've never been like a super driven relationship person. But I was also like moving a lot for work, so my focus was more my career and everything that was going on with that. Versus now, you know, I'm settled back in Atlanta, not moving from city to city so much, so it's just happened to work out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I think we definitely have to put him in the hot seat since we asked that question.
Okay.
So, of the people that are on this cast, you know, we have a very large group of people that they all follow with this show. Who do you think is going to be the person that changes?
Well, I can't say it's Andrika because she's already Hollywood. She was Hollywood. Before she did Hollywood.
Sometimes she has an attitude.
Always.
Not already Hollywood.
Andrika is ready for it, but if I had to say anybody was probably gonna switch up or just kind of like move a little different, I would say Brandon.
Yeah.
Brandon?
Yeah, I think so.
Why
most
do you think
definitely.
Brandon?
Because I think Brandon has always, maybe not always wanted this, but I think it's just like a good way for him to kind of really propel his life into something else.
Yeah.
You know? So I think he's just going to be that person that's really taking advantage of like opportunities and just being out there. You know what I mean? You can tell how excited he is about it, and it's actually put a lot of passion back into his role in the restaurant, which I love. You
That's
know?
a good thing.
Yeah, most definitely. So I would say Brandon, but in a positive light.
My mother and my aunts, they have been saying a lot, you know, just piggybacking off of what you said about Brandon. They feel like since we taped the show, they feel like everybody, or most of them, have started doing better in how they work at their work ethic because they feel like, oh, now that they're on the show, it gave everybody a whole new motivation to act right, basically.
For sure.
I think that's a majority question.
A majority question?
I mean, for the most part, the majority of people. I think there's some people that, you know, who's still working on
still, like who? Oh, you don't want to. How you gonna make the statement and don't want to tell
Who
us?
do you think?
I've always had great taste. Point blank.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
I'm a default to.
Oh, you don't know? Now, okay, got your tongue. Yeah, let's stay tuned.
Yeah, we're opening that up right now.
All right,
Oh,
we're gonna.
he got
stay-
silence.
I already know what you're speaking on, but that's neither here nor there.
Point blank.
Some people at the end of the day just are still going to move how they move. But I think in addition to the show, we've changed a lot. I mean, even culturally, we've just kind of like, in my opinion, come a long way from you know, the things that they said needed to kind of, you know, be fixed or whatever. So I think the show helped, but we also have just made strides to really grow in our roles in, you know, the business.
Okay, so this is a time that you can be cocky or not. You came into our lives around the same time we started filming as far as Old Lady Gang is concerned.
I think now it's just kind of like the Wild Wild West over there.
100%. We got to get back in there. There's no real leadership.
I mean, before you came over to Old Lady Gang, you was helping me get things in order at Blaze. Do you think that a major part of the change is you? Or do you think a major part of the change is them wanting to up their game because they're on TV?
So it's going to sound egotistical, but I think it's me. But I think it's me because of the relationships that I've built with everybody. You know, I think it's one thing, if you have the knowledge to make an impact and like make people feel, you know, enthusiastic about their job because they're becoming better at it. That's what I've done with like Melvin, Brandon, just so many people that maybe not, you know, some of the servers or whatever, but the people who are really running the restaurant, we've definitely like built a rapport, and I've given them so many tools to kind of help them through, you know, stuff that I experienced when I was in their positions as a junior manager or, you know, needing a lot more guidance or whatever the case is. So I for sure think, obviously, it's me. Definitely. Don Juan, okay, no.
I know. Here's the thing. I never negate that. Like it's a certain presence.
Who was it?
No. I don't think. I'm not saying that it wasn't a person. I'm saying I never negate that it's not a presence and an example that some people, specifically if you even go in education, people need that example and that leader to be able to follow. You know, like, okay, well, I want to do that. So I think it definitely made its own impact. I think TV also had a part in it because I think it was kind of like, if I'm coming to this job and I'm not really taking the job as serious, it made people be like, that might not be, I might need to, okay, realign. And also when you see the example of someone who comes in, they have such passion, they're really taking, then it's kind of like, well, damn, I look crazy now. You know, it made them kind of like step, it's almost like what we did in education. If you want somebody to step up to the occasion, you put them in there with people who are lower performing in the classroom, and it's going to make them rise up. So I think having the examples like Phillip in there made people be like, well, damn, if he do it and he come up in here, okay, I need to figure this out too, like, because I'm going to look like the bad person too.
I don't think they were concerned about it. They going to look crazy on TV regardless. This is a cast with a lot of personality.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they care 2 seconds about whether they're going to look crazy on TV, but I will say again that we've changed a lot of things that just our practices that allowed us to become better.
Well, first of all, did you watch a reality TV?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my point to him was that this show has more men than most reality shows, especially on Bravo.
For sure.
Okay. So to me, this is a big deal because not only, you know, it's just a different pace. You know, you have, you know, so many men on the show. We have women on the show too, but we have actually more men lead personalities on this show than women. And realistically, we have a man from both walks of life, of meaning as far as we have straight men on the show and we have gay men on the show.
Most definitely.
Now, do you feel any pressure? Because I didn't really think about it prior to the commercial coming out, but one time when I saw the commercial come out, I saw, you know how you can see people that you follow in some of their comments or whatever. I saw like some well-known guys that said they loved the fact that gay men were represented on the show and not just one note. Meaning, you know, you have masculine gay men and you have some gay men who are not so masculine.
Right.
You know. Right. So with that being said, do you feel pressure to represent any, you know, standard?
Not at all. But I think sexuality has never really been a big focal point of mine. You know, like I've always just been how I am regardless. So for me, it's never even been something that I consider. Now, through the course of that, you may be an example to some people or do something that, you know, makes people feel more comfortable in their skin. But it's never been something that I've focused on or like even acknowledged, you know.
Well, the reason why I asked you that is because like when I first came on to Real Housewives or whatever, you know, it was in the beginning of reality shows or whatever. And I know before I even started filming, I told a couple people that I was going to be on the show. You know, it was a couple people was like, oh, you know, they don't represent black women well, and you don't need to do that. And I was like, well, if you don't think they represent black women well, and you think I do, don't you think I should be on there?
For sure, for sure.
But I do understand what you're saying, because I didn't come on there feeling like I had to represent for anybody, but at the same time, you know, when you recognize the fact that this is not necessarily the standard for reality TV, you know, I just didn't know if you even thought about it.
I actually didn't, but I could definitely see how it's a big thing to just be yourself, and then in some way kind of, you know, I don't know, be an example for people, or just make people feel more comfortable in their skin. You know, I think everybody should feel, beyond like a label or something being put on them, just being comfortable being who they are, regardless of who it is. And I think within this, the nice thing about this cast is whatever similarities we have, sexual preferences or anything, you see that we are truly who we are.
Even differences.
That's what I love about it.
I think later on when you'll see even people that you may have conflict with, I think everybody also has a certain appreciation for how people just stand in. Like, if Chandrika is gonna be over the top Hollywood and a little ratchet, you still be like, that's just her. And you know what I'm saying? If Brian
you just threw her under the bus with that ratchet.
Well, I'm just saying, if you come Brian and you're like, that is not your uniform, but why did you put that? And he's just gonna be over the top.
Brian walking in with his hair sprayed.
Yeah.
La 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 la.
You're just like, but that's who he is.
Right.
And I think everybody just appreciates, you know, from everybody on the cast, no matter where they stand on the, like, they still are like, that's them, and yeah, that's them. You have to understand it and love it. I think even when you're not getting along, you have to love. You be like, no, that's them. Like, they are authentically who they are, and we appreciate what dynamic they bring, you know, to this spice of life. You know.
Bitch, I'm drunk.
You are drunk.
I'm not drunk.
You just said you was.
So what?
Okay. You know,
with coming in on this show, this is only the beginning. What would you like to be able to take from this experience?
Well, I think the one thing I'm gonna take from it is being able to see myself on TV. So even just being able to like observe yourself, and you know, just seeing yourself is where I feel like the biggest challenge is. And in addition to that, the things that you acknowledge within that you want to either, you know, work on or whatever it is to allow, you know, being your most authentic self and the best that you can be, in my opinion, is the best way to kind of make an impact in the world and in other people. So I think that part for me is like tremendous, just being able to see myself on there and, you know, see yourself through the eyes of other people, which we don't always get to see.
I think if it's any piece, even though it's unwarranted advice, that I would give you is, I would say for me, seeing myself was okay, but don't get caught up in the commentary of what you see when you see yourself, because it can really like start to play with you. Even if you're correct in your stance, or even if your delivery has to, like, don't get caught up in like, well, they're saying that, so because you start to overthink things that you would normally think. You know what I'm saying? Like, normally you'd be like, well, I was right and that's what you do, but then you're like, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. You know, and I can say that from, you know, years of being on their show to like being on, I literally would overthink things going forward in my life, and I think it kind of started to mess with where I would be like, well, maybe that was wrong. I shouldn't have, like, but that's right though. Take it, make a mental note where needed, but don't like overthink it. Because realistically, and the thing Ty used to always say to me is that those 100 people or 50 people that's in there going crazy saying really negative things to you, he's like, you got to remember, you got 1 million people who are watching you, supporting you, laughing with you, talking with you. It's just those 50 to 100 right there or less that just want to be saying, they just want to say something negative to get a rise out of you. For sure. What do you think of me as, you know, the person that brought you and hired you in the sense?
What you mean, what do I think?
Yeah, like realistically, what is your thoughts of me? You can say it.
I think that you're very vested. I think you have so much going on. The fact that you actually give this a lot of attention, it just, I wouldn't have expected that. I didn't expect you to really be involved in the restaurant operations. You mean like in text where she like, they posted this on? Yes, no, honestly. I mean, Candy will text me at whatever time and be like, hey, this review. But in the grand scheme of it, that just shows that she actually cares about it. You know, I think that some parts of it, people see the, you know, some of the clips or whatever that they're putting out, and it's like, it makes it seem like my focal point is different from like your vision from it. Like, oh, he's coming in here telling Candy what to do with her business, et cetera, et cetera. But I think it's just a collaborative process in everything. And you, to the point, you have so much going on that restaurants take a lot of, you know, attention and they require a lot. But the fact that you even see those small things just is like, I think that's pretty big.
I think a lot of times fans or people have this idea, or when they look at the restaurants, they don't really understand with the dynamic or the day-to-day practice, like how, like Todd is one of the owners and how he is like super involved
in everything.
So can we speak to that? Because I think when, like, if I say it, or they'd be like, oh my God, he over there with Candy, and I'm like, no, I think you have to understand these are his babies.
Oh, most definitely. You can definitely tell that he went into this business with the idea of like presenting something to people that was closely related to like what he wanted them to feel when they go to his restaurants and to feel good about them experiencing. Some people just open restaurants because they just think it's a cool thing to do, and they're not really involved in the process. But when it comes to making changes or, you know, anything that we're kind of implementing, he definitely always has like an input into it instead of, oh yeah, just do what you feel. You know, especially when you look at somebody who has experience in it. You may just say, hey, you seem like you know what you're doing already, but it's great to be able to just communicate with him and have a conversation. And sometimes he's like, I don't really see that for my restaurant.
And he's on top of those numbers.
So everybody's like, oh, you the numbers guy. I have to be the numbers guy because Todd definitely cares about the numbers.
Okay, so as far as you and Chandrika are concerned, because y'all have some real heated conversation.
You're upset at the end of the day because
I'm not upset. I'm just, he asked me about my energy, so I'm just letting you know.
This is where we differ.
Now, there was one thing that they didn't put in the show that you said to Chandrika. Well, first of all, did you remember saying, I don't
half of the stuff I say, honestly, I don't remember. So when it comes back to it, I think it's literally just in the moment. I just say what's on my mind.
And I don't go back and forth with hourly employees that I employ to do a job with a certain level of professionalism.
Okay.
But I can say, that's not far-fetched from what I may say.
It was the part about, I guess, you know, Chandrika has another job where she works,
previously,
with, was it elderly? I guess she was throwing it in your face about
that she's very respectful to people and she would never disrespect older people.
You said she was disrespectful. Or
oh, right.
And she says, I would never disrespect older people. I've done everything from like wipe their ass to blah, blah, blah. Do you remember what you said?
I think I said something like, I don't care that she wipes some people's ass or something like that.
Yeah, he like said something to her, like, I mean, it's great that you can wipe ass, but blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh my God. I cannot believe he just said this to this woman.
It's great you can wipe ass.
And I was like,
they should have put that in the show.
You know, like a lot of things were said in those kind of moments with conversation. Phillip.
Yes.
Can I see you for like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
So you'll see as we go on, like how you and Chandrika build. Did you think that you guys would like come out of that and
I honestly didn't. After that first interaction that was just real rocky, I didn't think we were going to come out of it. But to be clear, you know, Nora had the issue with Chandrika with regards to how Chandrika talked to her. And she said so Nora came to me and said, hey, I really don't like how she spoke to me.
Okay.
She was really upset. So the whole, you know, going and speaking to Chandrika about how she talks to people really came because something was brought to me from Nora saying, I don't appreciate how she speaks to me, and she just kind of does whatever she wants. And Chandrika was like, that's just Aunt Nora being Aunt Nora. You ain't got to fight for her. We cool. And I'm like, nah, but she didn't like what you did. So that's where it came from.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, the people don't get to see everything.
They don't get to see everything because it's like, you know, you have to.
I just want y'all to know, it comes from somewhere, okay? I just don't pull this out of nowhere where.
But you quick with pulling on them now. You quick with it. Phillip is coming into OLG bringing the very stick in the booty type of mentality. You might be the Kenya Moore of Candy in the Game. You are the shade assassin.
You know who we work with, though, right? You gotta be quick with all these.
I'm gonna let you do it since you know everything and you've been here for 4 years.
But hey, we get along. We get back on a good accord through the course of us doing
right now, as it is now, are you and Chandrika in a good place?
Yes, we are.
Okay, that's
in a
good
great
to know.
space.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with the people? We already know. One more time on social media. What is your Instagram name?
My name is I Am Kwesi. Not much. I mean, I'm just excited about this. You know, I think I've never really allowed, my business and personal life have always been different, but restaurants have always been like a tremendous part of like what I do. So this is a way for people to just see like what I really immerse most of my time in, which is, you know, restaurants. So this is kind of different for me too. Even some of my friends, some of my closest friends, you know, they don't see me day to day like running restaurants, etc. So this is definitely a big thing for everybody to kind of see this part of my life. It's pretty cool.
They're going to get to see it now.
They definitely going to get to see it.
Tuning in to all of these episodes because you're going to get to see the day-to-day of him, brother, for sure.
I think we should bring you back like later.
Oh, yeah. I think later on you have to come back because reliving it, I think the first episode, you're okay.
Anything you need to tell the people, Don Juan?
Not at all. Not right now. I think, again, keep watching. Because believe me, I feel like an angel this season.
Don't get it twisted, because sometimes I'm the one delivering the message, but it's coming from him, okay?
Well, thank you for watching. Speak on it. What's up, y'all? I am your girl, Candy, and I got my mama, better known as Mama Joyce, Aunt Nora, Aunt Bertha, and you also know them as the Old Lady Gang, and we're about to speak on it. This is my first time having all three of y'all next to me on this couch to speak on it.
You never had us up here.
Superman and kryptonite hit. Certainly don't perform in a professional environment that you have to exude. I'm not adjusting. Now you're tripping. I pay you. You don't pay me.
Thank you.